Cool. Thanks for the notification. All right. You want to punch in this one?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. We're all covered in. Hello. Hi everyone. This is probably going up on the YouTube channel as well. Interesting.
So we're in it now? We're in these two videos?
Yeah, don't make too much noise though.
Let's go.
Hi, yeah. So if you're watching this on a recording, then here it is. This is a record of a meeting to discuss the econ 05 homework for week 5, starting at 11:10 a.m. We're just going to discuss things and stuff. I think there are, what is that, like 20 people in this meeting? Lovely. And 2 people on either side. So let's go over it then. I suppose so. I didn't really have much. Oh my god, there are more people coming in. Hello everyone. Okay, so we better start on number 1. I only have to do this on my phone because my laptop's right over there, so can't really do much about that. It's asking for a password. It is. Is it? Oh, must be. No, that's not that. Is it asking for a password?
For sometimes some people it does.
Okay. That's, well, all of them are muted and have the video, so maybe it's automatically telling them that. Yeah, could you? Yeah. This should be fun. I think this is still recording as well. This is great. Okay. Is it asking for ask to start video? Is it asking for a password? Okay, let me check. Is there a password to a personal meeting? Okay, let me just double check. What's the password for? Yeah, I'm going to put it in WhatsApp and the Zoom meeting. Let me just. Oh my God, there are 20. Okay, invite. Copy the. Oh, here we go. 684015. So 684015. That's how it works. Okay. All right. Some people are duplicated, which is a little weird. All right. Well, dear Darren, pass this back, please. Thank you. Yeah. Great. Okay. So you should move in. Good, so everybody can see it. Hello, everyone. I did put the password on there, so everyone should be there. Is that right? Oh, everyone, yeah, I've got an okay sign from the chat, so should be fine. Okay, so for 1A1, go over this. That's just my tutorial exercise. Oh my. Okay, so first of all, what do you guys get on it?
No contribute.
Yeah, no contribute.
Also, I only with this much work.
Yeah, I don't know much to do. Just 3 sentences.
I'm really scared.
Wow, all right, fine. Yeah, fair enough. I've still got a few edit.
I haven't even finished pressing.
Yeah,
I didn't do any of the maths. I just wrote it generally.
okay,
Yeah.
so so the question was, the dominant strategy.
So
Yeah,
you
it doesn't
said,
have a dominant strategy.
no contribution.
Okay, so so for 1A1, there's no contribution because
There's always an incentive.
Because you
Yeah.
always lose 0.5 if you contribute.
yeah, exactly. So no contribution is the dominant strategy, and then for
It's asking if this is the Nash.
yes, is this the Nash? Yeah,
It is.
it is the Nash equilibrium because if everyone plays this strategy, it all converge and no one benefits from diverging because any subsequent investment outwards will be the loss for. is this Pareto efficient? Oh, maybe you got a diverging view.
Well, hold on. What was the question? Is that particular point Pareto efficient?
The definition of Pareto efficiency is that we cannot move without making someone else worse off, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They'd only make themselves worse off. That's the thing. If an additional person were to contribute, well, they'd make everyone else better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it surely is Pareto efficient.
Yes. Well, that's something about what you.
I put when everybody contributes.
Whenever everyone contributes, yes, but that's not like a direct move, is it? That you would have to require people to change their jobs.
So is it Pareto efficient one of the moves, or is it the whole idea of it? Do you get what I mean?
The Nash equilibrium. And it's talking about the Nash equilibrium is to not contribute.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and so at the Nash equilibrium, every change in strategy where someone else decides to contribute will result in a loss.
Yeah.
So at this point, it is Pareto efficient because there's no.
Because they can't have a better option.
Yes. I know, like, if everyone else contributed, everyone else would have a larger.
So we're only talking about one person's move here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. So let's just go over this again. It is, yeah, probably just check here. The game does have a double strategy, which is to not contribute. Okay. The Nash equilibrium is where everyone doesn't contribute, and this Nash equilibrium is Pareto efficient.
Did somebody ready?
I see.
Yeah, okay. Hey, oh,
Is that close enough?
that is close. Can you guys hear us now? Is that fine? Somebody try this actually. I don't know what it needs to be. There you go. That's better? Cool. All right. So for 1B, let me look at my notes here. Okay. So for 1B, I've got a game tree for it that looks somewhat like that.
Oh, I didn't draw it yet because there's so much of a mess.
So you've got, essentially, it's, hold on, let me show the chat. You've got the first person investing, which gives two possibilities for the second. Well, it's if they invested or not, it gives two possibilities for the second person, which gives two possibilities for the third, and so on and so on, until we're left down at the bottom with 64. I think it's kind of hard to see because it's technically flipped. Yeah, but you'll have 64 total outcomes when it comes to player 6. So, yeah, was there any other details to that question actually?
It asks if what's the dominant strategy. Or
Oh,
Yeah, that's the next one.
Okay, what is this the dominant strategy?
No, it says like,
Oh, right.
What is the dominant strategy? Is that
yeah,
it?
what is
No.
that? What is an ash?
No, sure.
Oh,
That's part two.
this is the dominant strategy one.
No.
Okay. Oh, it's just asking for that. Okay, got it.
I said it's the same as before.
Yes,
sorry,
it
yeah,
is
unchanged.
pretty much the same as before. Yeah. So
I mean, nothing about the game has essentially changed.
Yeah, even if they see it, they're better off.
the Nash equilibrium is going to remain the same as the first one. It's not, nothing's going to change essentially, because we still have essentially the same dynamics as before. Now in C, okay, this is a bit trickier. Okay, so I think there was a slight bit of confusion over C, especially yesterday, which I'm hopefully going to clarify now. As hold on, let me just get my pen and paper out. Okay, so remembering that each payoff is the addition of the other person's payoff, we can sort of think about this in a more mathematical sense, where we think of investment 1 as I1 and investment 2 as I2. The problem is I'm going to draw this out and it'll be difficult to show you guys on the meeting. So I'm going to try. Okay. So actually, we'll just logically, let's think about this. If we have player 1 and player 2, they both have options of investing or not investing. Okay. If they both don't invest, the outcome is very simple. We get 0-0. Okay, nobody's going to get anything. If one invests, however, okay.
If you like a lot of these.
Now I'm fine with this actually. Thank you. Yep. So for, if you guys want to look at this as well. So for player 1, if they invest I1, right? So their investment is just going to be I1, because that's just theirs, minus 1.5 I1, which is going to Yeah, so this is going to be negative 0.5 I1. Let me just show that to everyone here. Sorry if that's a little inverted. Hopefully you guys can pass that.
Is there no pictures of WhatsApp afterwards?
Yeah, I can probably send a picture of the WhatsApp if people are still confused. Now, in contrast, player 2 can freeload off player 1, which gives them just the benefits of I1, and they don't have to invest anything. So they get I1. Adding these two, you get 0.5 I1, which means both people are going to get 0.5 of the person who invested. Each are going to get half of the investment size. So there is still going to be a benefit here. Okay. So hold on.
Is this the same as, because I said when you invest, before you take off your cost, the other person gets 1, you get 1, so that's 2, and your cost of effort is minus 1.1, so 0.5.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't invest. It's going to be 0, 0. And then for each of these, depending on the person who invests, let's just call this is person 1, this is person 2. You get, so if person 1 only invests, then it's going to be 0.5 I1, 0.5 I1. Is remember they're the same. And then the similar thing for the other one, which is I2. Okay. If that sort of makes sense to everyone, this graph down here. Okay. Right. So your total thing here was your I1 minus your cost, right? Which was for player 1, 0 minus 0.5 I. And then your total benefit for player 2 was when we were freeloading I1. So adding those two together, you get 0.5 I, which is going to be for both of them, right?
I took out the cost afterwards, that's why it's...
Yeah, I think you worked in a bit more of a linear way, which is maybe messing it up. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It is negative 0. How dare you question me? Okay, so now, if both invest, it's a little more interesting. See, for player 1, when they both invest, okay, you have I1 plus I2, which is the total investment, minus their personal cost. And this is going to be the same for both. Okay, adding these two together, you get 2 lots of I1 plus I2 minus 1.5 lots of each of them, right? This will eventually equal, so 2I1 minus 1.5 I1, 0.5 I1, and the same thing for I2, plus 0.5 I2. So the result here is going to be 0.5 I1 plus I2 for both of them. Yeah? Is that all right? Okay, that's the completed table there. If we just look here. Okay. So, what does this indicate? So, what are the questions exactly? Let me look at this. So, does this go for a strictly dominated strategy? Yes, it does. It is to invest. Okay, this is because the benefits from investing, again, I'm really hard to show this. Yeah, the benefits from investing are always going to be positive. So, and it's better than essentially getting nothing. So you're always getting a positive outcome from investing in this case. It is in contrast to the last case where it was always negative. Okay, the next one. Does that have a Nash equilibrium? Well, it does. Yeah. It is at where they both invest. Yeah, only one though. So there's only one Nash equilibrium, and it's when they both invest. All right. And then what was that? Is it Pareto efficient? Well, yes, this is the largest amount they can actually get, and it is the, and it's the best outcome in this actual circumstance. So any movement is going to make you worse off. Okay.
Where did you get the one?
I get 1.5 for what? You mean like the subtraction of the cost? Because that's I believe what it put in the question. Oh, that is. Oh, so the Nash is to invest 8 hours. Wait, what? Oh my God. I am being swamped with questions. Okay, so the Nash is to invest 8 hours. No, it's just to invest at all. Okay. we're talking about it in a more binary perspective where it's we invest or we don't invest. It doesn't matter how much you invest, it just matters if you do it. Okay, we're reducing this down because if we considered every combination of hours, it would be far too complicated of a model for actually us to draw out like this. So it wouldn't be nice. Oh my god, I've got so many more messages. Never mind, I figured that out. Aha. Aha, I love it. I thought there were two Nash equilibrium where both invest or both don't invest. Yeah, okay. That was a slight mistake on my part actually yesterday. There was a bit of confusion where one person investing would actually make a loss. It doesn't actually. One person investing will always make a gain. So if this is the case, then you have a case where you either gain nothing or gain something if you don't invest, or you gain something and gain a lot more when you do invest. So the Nash equilibrium is only going to be where those dominant strategies being played, investing. Hence, both people investing is going to reach a challenge.
Surely if one person invests one thing, there would be a lot of losing track. So say if one person,
There's a personal loss, but
Yeah,
it's subsidized by the other person.
yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
So
you're
yeah,
always
Yeah, because this strategy is essentially preventing freeloading. Is this another question, or no? This is the same one as before. When are you the one Nash is to invest 8 hours? Okay, I think that's everything. Any more questions about number one? There probably is, honestly. I will wait. Here. Oh, is that someone asking a question? But surely, if one person invests, then both make a loss. Okay. I wish I already had my whiteboard up right now. I wish there was a whiteboard here. Anyway, no, because if one person invests, they get 0.5 loss of their investment. Okay, but that's on a personal scale. The other person, when freeloading, gets the other person's entire investment by one, right? So if those two combine, 1 plus negative 0.5 makes 0.5 I1 for both of them. So
I think they get confused when your payoff is 1, your cost of effort is something else. When you invest, you get a payoff of 1, but your cost of effort is a personal thing. So your payoff isn't minus 0.5, your payoff is 1.
Yeah.
So when your payoff is 1, that means the other person's payoff is also 1.
What exactly does the question say? Because it's quite confusing, isn't it?
Because I think they're thinking that the payoff is minus 0.5.
Well, payoff encapsulates profits and losses. This is your end point, essentially.
No,
Payoff
but
doesn't.
I'm thinking when you invest, you get a payoff of 1. The cost of effort is your own thing, it's something else. You get what I mean?
Well,
So that's why your payoff from that interaction is 1, but your cost of effort puts your end payoff at minus 0.5. But the payoff, like let's say in a matrix, is 1. That's why the other person gets 1 as well.
well,
because say if the other person gained more utility from your investment, then you'd have to take it into account.
wouldn't we a bit more holistic of an approach to say that a payoff would be encapsulated also by the costs as well? Because when a business doesn't pay off, you would say that you would have to factor in the losses, right?
But
They don't
then
have to incur.
if the payoff is minus 0.5, then the other person gets minus 0.5 as well, which is not how they get
No, because it's the addition of payoffs, right?
Yeah, so we're assuming that your payoff is 1, not minus 0.5.
No, whereas
Because if it was minus 0.5, then the other player should also get minus 0.5 because they get your payoff.
no, because your payoff is being added to the other player's payoff. That's not what both people get. It's what you take the payoffs of both people, add them, and that's the payoff for both people. Okay.
Because look, I said here,
Because like, what is it? It's going to be these additions, right? So you've got negative 0.5 for the first person and 1 for the first person. You have to add these two, and then you get the payoffs for both, which is going to be this 0.5 I1. That's going to be for both people. So it's positive for both.
yeah, I worded it differently. I said they both get a payoff of 1, so that means that in total it's 2. But then the cost of that one person gets added, which makes it 0.5.
Well, I don't know. That doesn't really work on. I mean, I guess you can say that.
That's another way. It's just sort of doing one step before the other.
Yeah. You're just sort of. It's like taking a left step before a right before instead of a right step before a left. It's just the same thing.
Okay.
Okay, so the payoff for both people here is going to be 0.5 I1. I will post this to the chat after. Okay. I wonder how much storage space this has. anyways, let's get through to number 2. Okay, so we have a few models of games. I assume you guys have the paper open, so I don't have to tell you what these look like. Okay, so we've got something that looks sort of like a Prisoner's Dilemma game that has a few variants, and then we've got an ultimatum game with a twist at the end where it's a different kind of offer. It's not split and then both people lose out. It's
No, wait, can we see for the first game?
so for the first
I said it's a
game,
one-shot.
it's it's what kind of strategic interaction situation? Well, we can use examples of real world things, right? That's the main thing. I mean, you can say it's a one-shot game, sure, but we also don't know that it's not consecutive here as well. So we're just saying like what might fit in.
Yeah.
Oh dear. What just happened? I think I just moved around some of my blocks. There it is. There we go. Yeah. So I did for I'm just getting like door. There's someone at the door. Great. Was that? No, that's from last one. Okay. So what I've done is 2 businesses setting up a cartel in game 1 as my sort of circumstance, where if they both cooperate, they gain higher profits, and if they don't, then they get lower profits. And not cooperating by one of them, so if say player A doesn't cooperate, they gain profit for them, but none for the other, because it's a highly competitive one. And essentially, if you lower the price in one business while the other one's high, you're not going to get any profit for the other business.
But the thing is with that, I was using a similar example with OPEC. And say if one company were to lower their price and not cooperate, let's say for example like a price fixing agreement, then probably they would gain more utility.
Bigger than 6.
Yeah, it's not exactly it's not exactly precise, but you would also say that the market could sanction them for such a thing, which leads to their profit being lower.
So that could be another.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's literally a perfect Prisoner's Dilemma game.
Well, not precisely because the payoff would have been higher for betraying that.
Why is it going to be higher?
Well, see, no, because if you were going by years, then if player A doesn't cooperate and betrays, then that would imply player A got nothing.
If player doesn't what?
Well, look, imagine this is the number of years, right?
Yeah,
So 6 years for each if they both
cooperate.
But if player A betrays, okay, then why do they get 4 years?
Oh no, I think this is taking
No.
utility.
No. It's if player, like let's say if player
He wants to do it as a business style
Does
of
it-
years.
if player B if player A doesn't contribute, doesn't cooperate, and player B cooperates,
Yeah.
that means player A is guilty now. That's why they get 4 years.
Okay.
And player B gets 0 because they cooperated with the police.
Oh, it's quite possible, yeah.
I mean, you could also look at it from the angle of utility.
Yeah. There are multiple ways to essentially represent
But the
this.
thing is, I couldn't find the Nash when I did it that way. That's the issue.
Okay, let's just take this to.
Yeah.
I will speak to the camera. There are multiple ways to sort of phrase this. Anything that works in this sort of strategic interaction where you've got 2 parties having this sort of way about things is going to be beneficial. So just do whatever works here. I can't really offer much else. For B, I think it's, well, for the second one, I just did splitting money between friends. Possibly if you pick some up on the street, this is quite similar this is quite a common thing to see in an ultimatum game, just splitting money between people. And then as a matter of fact, as the result for one person is going to be 101. So if I split the money and yeah.
Hello.
No, that's the economic.
Okay.
Hello. Sorry about speaking a language. Oh, how horrible. Sorry. Okay, so let's So for B, given that the result for player A is 100 every single time that they reject, then it's a sort of a different game where you're not splitting money. A is more offering money to this person, and if they don't take it, then A just keeps it. Yeah.
I said it's a company with slaves.
I mean, that could be a possibility as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's essentially it's a non-voluntary exchange. Well, no, it is a voluntary exchange where you're giving someone money, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
You could just be a normal sort of employee.
Oh, you. All right. Let's go for. So, how would you describe the institutional features of the game? Well, again, this depends on what we're doing. If it's a prison style other game, you obviously have the police to back this up. Okay, you have no communication as well as enforced by the third party here. But also in the state of a business cartel. That is a notification about my dental appointment. Ignore that. Yeah, in the case of a business cartel, there isn't much of a third party to keep it in check because these two businesses are acting independently as per our model. So we cannot accurately say that they have a system to keep it in check. We could say that reciprocity could work if this is a sequential game. So if a business changes their prices in one go, in one term, and the other business will change their prices to sort of fight back almost.
But here, like in the brackets, it says players, strategies, payoffs, information, simultaneous or sequential play.
Yeah. So
like I talked about all of those things in the bracket.
yeah, exactly. So did I.
strategies as well.
I'm summarizing it
Okay.
because I'm not going to talk about all those things because it'll be too much of an information dump for everyone. Yeah. Just what Tagai said, everyone. Essentially, you want to cover all the different kind of features that your game can have. Also, it would be nice to discuss, for example, what might happen in, like, if sequential play occurred in the first game or in the second game. In the first game, for example, you could hypothesize that you could use sequential play, and assuming we have perfect information, that would make everyone worse off. You know how that sort of works?
When you mean sequential, one person does it and then the other person does it.
Well, actually, the limited term sequential play almost. So say, let me hypothesize something. So say we are in the first circumstance and we are two businesses, okay, competing, for example. We currently, can you go up just so I can show this? You are currently,
you're fucked
can
anyway,
I
because you're
show
not
the
moving.
camera actually? Yeah. Hi guys. This is really professional.
Is that
No, it is really right. Yeah, sorry about that. So if everyone looks at sort of their graph for that, we're in the top left corner where we are both currently cooperating for higher profits. Okay, let's just assume that we establish a cartel in the first go. Now I know that if I am making more of a profit overall over these 10 months, then I will be picked for something or something like that. Because if I don't know, let's just say we're in a shopping mall and the shopping mall is like, oh wow, this shop is making more profits, we'll give more funding to them or something like that. So I have an incentive to make more profits than my competitor, okay, because I want to take over the market, right? So what would benefit me here is to cooperate for 9 months and then betray on the last go, okay? Assuming that my opponent does not realize I'm going to betray, if I betray, I can gain 4 and they gain 0, essentially giving me the upper hand in profits, okay? Now, this betrayal is beneficial for me because I gain higher profits at the end of the day. Is this another question? Surely it's cooperating with each other, not the police. Oh yeah, sure. Well, there's different. Well, there's different. Well, we're talking about institutional features now as well. So they are cooperating with each other, but the decision is enforced by the police. But anyway, that's my example. If my opponent knows I will betray, though, then they'll say, okay, I know you're going to betray me in the last month. So what if I betray you beforehand, which only gives you the possibility to go to the end here? Okay, so my opponent, if they know I will betray a month before, they will betray me. Okay, this can essentially continue if we have perfect information. I know you'll betray me, so I'll betray you, so I'll betray me, and this will essentially continue up to the first month. If I know that this sequence of betrayals is going to happen, I'm going to switch my strategy at the very start. And if my opponent knows this, they'll switch their strategies. So we'll both sit right at the Nash equilibrium 2-2. So essentially, everyone will have a third of the income that they would have had if they just cooperated, because we assume that everyone's going to betray so much. Yeah. So that's sort of the dynamics of that kind of sequential game, assuming perfect information as well. Does that sort of make sense?
No, it makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Something else, you know.
Yeah.
All right. That's a bit long, by the way, so I don't know if people
Don't
want
write too long.
that.
Don't write too long.
Well, I did.
As
As you can sort of see there, there's my B.
oh my god.
Look, I'm telling you.
Jesus Christ.
It's still going. There it is. Yeah.
I'm telling you, don't write too long.
Oh wow. All right.
Please.
Oh no, people are leaving the meeting. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for making you feel that.
Too much fancy.
Yeah, clearly. Okay, so question C. What is the equilibrium outcomes in each game? So in the first one, I believe the outcome is there are 2. which is when they cooperate or they don't cooperate. Am I correct in saying that?
I couldn't reach it though. I don't look.
You can't reach it.
No, look. Like here, I said,
Yeah.
assuming that player A cooperates,
Yeah,
you're
the other one will cooperate.
you're not going to cooperate. Let's say because you're trying to have the least payoff, right?
Yeah.
So you want for
Well, all movements will make you worse off in the same case of cooperating. So that is an Nash equilibrium, right?
okay. So if I
Because if player A changes the strategy, they are worse off.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's easier to consider it just with
Yeah.
utility.
yeah,
So
I need to
if
consider the other way
I-
around.
I think it's the same thing kind of too.
Yeah, because like if you're
Because
assuming,
changing the strategy just gives you 0.
yeah, if they're not going to cooperate, player B, then
Yeah.
if you cooperate, you're fine.
Yeah,
You don't-
exactly.
Well, if both don't cooperate and you decide to change your strategy, say for player A decides to change it from don't cooperate to cooperate, their payoff turns from 2 to 0.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 2 Nash equilibria, one where they both cooperate and one where they don't. Okay, for the second one though, it's a bit of a weird one. I don't believe I found a Nash equilibrium.
Is that even?
Oh wait, no, I think
I did. I
No,
said it's
I-
when they offer them 0.
yeah, the Nash well because
They're
player
gonna
B,
you're
so
gonna get
it's-
100 anyway.
player B's dominant strategy is to accept anything player A offers them because it's always a
Yeah.
profit.
Yeah.
Okay, player A's dominant strategy is to get the most money,
Mm.
and they are bounded by what player A dictates.
Well,
So
in that case, surely the dominant strategy for player A is to offer 99 because then, well, player actually no,
because player
If you offer 0,
exactly.
if they offer anything above 100, there's a chance player B will accept and they get a worse off. Okay, given that they've got all the power here, they're better to offer 100 and 0, and they get the same payoff either way. So the equilibrium here is player A offers 100 and 0, 100 for themselves, 0 for player B, and then nobody gains anything except player A. So that's the equilibrium here. Also, I don't think we discussed the institutional features of
this
the.
one,
Yeah, you could also talk about different types of fairness, such as procedural fairness.
Yeah.
Because in this case, player B essentially does the control of the procedure. Okay, player A has all the control.
bargaining power.
Yeah, exactly.
Reciprocity if they're going to be doing it multiple times when they switch roles.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we can, like I wrote the notes. They're independent. They have like no altruism. They don't care about the other person.
Yeah.
To get the answer.
Okay. All right. So now we're arriving at number 3. So we've got. Yeah. So you've got a diagram. I've got a diagram. Have fun. Can I enlarge this? Yeah, I can. Look at that. So you should have something that roughly looks like that. You don't have to give too much detail at the start. It looks a bit like a fish. Woo. So the yellow line here is Adler's biological survival constraint, and the orange line is the feasible frontier. Note that the feasible frontier must end at 24 hours, otherwise it's not viable. You have something similar, I think. Yeah. Okay, so that's just for the regular survival constraint. This question isn't asking too much. And it's also asking for, why does it increase with the amount of time she works? Well, you need more food done.
When you work, you work. Yeah.
So, and up to a point, so say you were working 18 hours a day, you would just need successively more and more food. It would get at a higher rate.
Yeah, I think they want you to say like with every extra unit worked, you need extra food than before.
Yes, is the marginal cost of it will increase.
And I just said it's because you're overworking your body too much.
Well, yeah. Obviously, this isn't exactly realistic. A human can't consume infinite amount of food when they work 24 hours a day. Well, I'm glad to know. All right. But this is enough of a good enough of a model for us to work with. So we'll do that. So for B, we want to move her survival constraint vertically downwards. Let me show the screen what I've got here. So as you can sort of see here, you've got the yellow line, and it's kind of hard to see, but the red line is below it. So we are moving her survival constraint down. This increases the size of the feasible set. Okay. Yeah, although that's sort of moving more diagonal.
Oh,
So the red line is moving down.
but you're also increasing the slope as well, so slightly. Is that intentional or is it just meant to be a parallel?
No, this is the exact same.
Oh,
It's the exact same curve moved
yeah,
down.
yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So if moving down, it's going to be quite similar there. Actually.
That's what I tried to. It's just shifts downwards.
Yeah, I drawing yours, are you?
Yeah, I draw mine.
Yeah, so I use mine in more of the software there. So I assume people left here because some people haven't done this yet. So yeah, as this moves down, so Bruno is going to get more of a surplus because her biological survival constraint is going down. So he doesn't need to pay her as much grain, essentially. So this increases the size of Bruno's surplus, essentially giving him more profits. Because again, the feasible frontier is changing. We're not changing how much we can produce. Yeah.
Why does it move down specifically? Surely it should move to the left because if she's gaining more nutrition
Well,
per unit of grain, then she'll be able to work more.
yes. Let's see. Okay. So the important thing is lying around here. Okay. If she works no hours, okay, hold on. Let me zoom in on this for everyone else. If she works no hours a day, her nutrition requirements are still going to be cut in half. Okay. All right. So this is the important thing here.
Wait,
However,
does it
if she's working this many hours a day, okay, her nutrition requirements aren't going to change as much because she's working more. Okay. At that point, quantity matches over the quality of the food. Okay. So you have.
Wait, but why is it here? Actually, they should be the same.
Because you're going to require half the food when you're still not working.
Why?
But
Because it's tied to nutrition, right?
but surely she can work more. And if we're assuming a coercive sort of environment, then because we're looking at the biological survival constraint, then she pretty much will work more. Or is it because that's not included in the y-axis? That's not just not a factor?
Well, think about it, it's sort of like bushels of grain per free time
Per-
is going to go down.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're decreasing here, it means that.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay, it's going to decrease. Well, we're decreasing the amount she needs per the amount of she works. It's not changing in the actual other capability.
Right.
Okay. So for C here, you've got the feasible frontier expanding. It should look like that. As you can see here, the red line above the original feasible frontier is the new feasible frontier. Okay. If you want to look at that in more detail, that's the red line above there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And you've got a similar thing as well. Okay. Let's draw the new survival constraint on there. Okay. Did it ask for?
Is there a
Did you
new
exclude that? Well, that was from 3B. I don't think you need to draw that in again. I mean, you can.
The new one?
Huh?
This one, the new survival constraint?
Well, I don't know if they asked for it. I think
No,
that was
you
sort
need
of
to
a
because-
signal circumstance.
Wait,
It's a separate thing.
It is a separate thing.
no, but the opportunities available to Bruno if it discovers a new technology for producing a more nutritious grain. So the new technology to produce the more nutritious grain.
All right.
Oh, but maybe that could be interpreted in two ways. Could be something separate, or it could be.
No, it's saying, so they found the more nutritious grain, and now they're finding new technology to get to a more nutritious grain. Yeah.
All right.
That's why you still need to keep it.
Well, let me just read this. Just check this again. So these the opportunities available to Bruno using the more nutritious grain. Yeah, fair enough. You are correct in that aspect.
Okay.
So we also have the new survival constraints being put with the new feasible frontier. So the new survival constraint is going to be down from the previous one, and the new feasible frontier is going to be expanding on the y-axis there. As you can sort of see, it's expanding only on the y-axis, and you can see they both still converge at 24 hours, because if we upped it any further, then we have more than 24 hours of free time, which doesn't really work. Okay, so we're going to have new ones. So then we get to 3D. Would you be better off telling Bruno about the new technology? Well, so if they are in a game where Bruno is able to make Angela do whatever he wants, so if Bruno is able to make Angela do whatever he wants, he can take as much surplus as he wants. So he can sort of keep Angela at the exact same situation as she was before. And she can. Hold on. Pardon me. He can keep her at the exact same circumstance, essentially on her survival constraint, and she doesn't really get much of a benefit after this. Okay, so that's people bleeding. Have I provided you enough information?
Wait, I just thought about something.
Yeah.
So look at my graph.
Yeah.
Assuming that she doesn't tell him, right?
Mhm.
So forget the green line.
Yeah.
Normally here, she would work 14 hours, 15 hours of free time. Bruno would give her 2, and he would keep 9. So he would keep 7. But now, because of the technology, she can make 11.
Yes.
But Bruno doesn't know about this. So she could make 2 from Bruno and also 2 by herself secretly.
So you're assuming that she has the capability to produce things secretly.
Exactly. So like if you assume a lot of things, or like
I think that's a bit too far of an assumption, honestly. Like, I mean, sure, she could produce things secretly, but she'd also have to change her. Like, what if the new like strategy was buying a tractor? It's pretty hard to do that secretly, right?
Yeah, but it says Bruno doesn't know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the question is sort of assuming that she. Oh wait, no. I mean that's for
No,
D.
because
I
if
guess.
Bruno
This
is
is the. This is the.
Oh, yeah, that is true. Yeah. I mean, it is assuming that Bruno may not know about it. So.
Or I said like, if he's okay with having 7 bushels, because he doesn't know about the new technology, Angela can work less now, and still offer the 7 bushels, but she's working less. If Bruno just leaves her to work and just picks up the bushels at the end of the day.
Okay, so there's two ways of interpreting this. Is that
Yeah.
if Bruno has perfect or imperfect information about what Angela is currently doing, if he has imperfect, then sure, this works. Okay, but if he has perfect information, which is normally the case with these sort of circumstances, he won't. I think he will discover this and also increase his surplus, because an increase in production also increases the surplus that Bruno can achieve.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's pretty hard to find that sort of thing.
I think there's like many correct answers.
Okay,
Because it's
so
vague, you know?
it's currently vague here. Okay, it could also mean Angela could produce extra units of production in private, or it could mean that Bruno could take advantage of this and increase his surplus. It's kind of ambiguous at this point. We'll probably work on this a little bit more.
I don't think they mind whichever we write.
Yeah.
Unless we like write it correctly and stuff.
Well, you don't really know about that, do you?
It's
economics. It depends.
Yeah, we're not gonna go like against economic knowledge. We're just going to depend, because if we say assuming that and then we write it, I think it should be fine.
Okay then. All right. So that is technically the full homework gone over. I believe 1 was the most difficult one, so that's probably the one people look at in this recording most. Hopefully everything goes well. Anything else that we want to discuss? Actually, anyone else in the chat? Show your questions implying. Oh, there are people. So surely the question is implying she can choose whether or not to tell him. So we could assume he's in the dark unless she chooses to tell him. Okay. Well, yeah. It's pretty interpretive, honestly.
Because why would they say why shouldn't she tell me? He's gonna find out anyway.
Yeah. Well, what if Bruno has complete control over which production method she can use? Wait. Doesn't he have complete control of it? So if Bruno
But it says Angela discovers this new technology. So
okay, so
Bruno's not gonna
if she
really
discovers
care.
the new technology, how would she implement it without Bruno?
Like,
Can she implement it personally, or can she implement it only with the help of Bruno?
Well, she's producing the labor, so.
I think if she's discovered it herself, maybe she can use it by herself. Let's say like she finds a way to water the plants more efficiently. I don't know.
Again, this consistently assumes that Bruno does not pick up on this on any sort of the way.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, in the text.
Okay, so there are assumptions here. There are, we are either assuming that Bruno does not know about this new production method, or either has no control over production, which is a bit weird because if he has total control over what Angela can do, then that sort of implies that he can know about production. Or we assume that Bruno does know about production and therefore would know about the change.
I don't think it really matters what you write.
Okay.
Unless you write your part, like your assumption, yeah.
Honestly, I think Angela just ends up not as good either way. Because if Bruno knows about this, that he's going to take the entire surplus and keep out on that biological constraint. Okay. Well, it's a tough spot. Anyways.
Did you bother with the difference curves in this one?
No.
Too strictly in this case. All right. So I think that's all. Should we? Yeah. It is 11:54, so that took about 44 minutes. Fairly good time. Yeah. All right. So what? Anything else? Or yep. Oh,
What is EJ?
for question 1, what does EJ mean? EJ means, I believe, the investments of all of them.
Yeah, the total.
It's total investments. So it's the sum of everyone else's investments, including yours. So that's like
No, the drama of this EJ.
yeah, EJ. There it is. Yeah, that is everyone else's investments, including yours.
Well, it doesn't take into account.
Why is it
the
minus?
cost.
I think this is you.
So that is everyone's investment minus your cost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So EJ is actually no, it's a sum function.
Yeah, something else.
No, it's yes, okay. Okay, so as you can see in the summation here, J equals 1 up to 6. So this is each person. So J signifies the person that's going. So person 1, person 2, person 3, person 4. And E represents their investment. So we've got investment 1, investment 2, investment 3, investment 4. We add them up, essentially.
I thought it was, this is their, the unit of gain they have for 1 unit. And the 1 point EI is their cost of effort. So the amount of times they do it.
That's EI is one person's cost of effort specifically.
Yeah, this is just for one person as well. This is the total amount everyone else invested minus their cost.
Yeah, so like, this is like, isn't this the one they gave?
That is the total.
Isn't this the total?
No, the
summation
entire
of the-
thing. Hold on.
No, I'm talking about just EJ, no? I'm just talking about this by himself. Forget the
No.
summation.
The EJ is tied to the summation. These two things are the same. These,
fuck.
yeah, these two things are the same. This is separate. Okay.
So wait, what does that mean?
So remember, guys, the summation and EJ are tied. Okay. So it's the summation with respect to EJ because remember J is at the bottom of the summation, so it's within that summation, and then minus the 1.5 EI, which is your investment. So there's that. Yeah. All good.
Yeah. I mean, we wrote the same. stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we wrote the
Yeah.
same stuff.
All right. Okay. I'll most likely continue answering questions on the chat throughout the week, just so people are notified. I believe this is submitted around midday or 10 a.m. Something like
When did you? Monday?
Let's try.
Friday.
Oh, this Friday.
This Friday. This Friday. Hopefully you guys can have. Oh, there's more. How do we? Oh my God, there are two. For question 1, how do we show the Nash equilibrium? Aha. So the thing is, the dominant strategy for question 1. Yeah. So wait for question 1. For
1
which?
PM by Friday.
Could you be more? 1 p.m. Okay. So 1 p.m. on Friday. Hold on. Oh, 1A. Okay, so given the dominant strategy for 1A was to not invest because it wasn't beneficial for anyone, we would say that, okay, well, that would be the Nash equilibrium, okay, because everyone, and so I'm thinking when everyone else doesn't invest, okay, well, if everyone doesn't invest and I invest and I change my strategy, it's not going to benefit me because I'm going to make a loss overall. So any subsequent movement by any person here is going to result in a loss for them. So yeah, I'm talking about part 1A as well. Oh, okay. Let's just see your question. For 1, what is the best way to diagrammatically represent the game in a payoff matrix? Is it best to simplify the game into just 2 players rather than 6? Yes, as a matter of fact, it is. You could, hypothetically, represent this as you and everyone else investing. Okay, so you invest and you don't invest, and everyone else invests and everyone else doesn't. Okay, it is a bit tricky to do that, but that is possible. Okay, yeah. So you could bring, yeah. So you could say like both invest and everyone else invests, but I'm not I. I invest with everyone else and nobody else does. Although it is better to do it as sort of an intuition in a way, because it's a little sort of easier to explain, especially with more than 2 players. It's difficult to accurately represent that with a matrix, but it is easier to represent it with words. So if you represented it in a way that said, okay, everyone, if I do this, it's not going to benefit me. This is going to be the same for everyone else in my group, okay? Assuming everyone else has the same thing as me. So if this strategy applies to me, it applies to everyone else, okay? It's sort of a little better like that. Okay. Sorry, was that helpful to you guys? Was that all right?
Before you close, I need to ask them something.
Yeah, of course.
Guys, if anybody does accounting this term, please message the group. Like, please, I beg you.
This is your report from Togai.
Huh?
Accounting. What?
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 And you.
This is your report from you.
We have an exam in like a few days. I'm done.
On a get on camera. Okay.
Accounting people, please message me. I really need help. Thank you.
He wants
Anybody that does
a
accounting.
friend. He wants a friend,
Yeah, I'm
guys.
lonely and one friend.
Oh, all right. Okay, we're gonna end the meeting now.
All right.
Okay. Have a nice day, everyone, and I will see you later. That's such a generic sign off, dear Lord. Sorry. Yes, I do.